We all know why we're here, right? Let's just get into it because I'm telling you, I've been analyzing and overthinking and doing all this stuff until I have SpaghettiOs for brains, okay, child? So let's just get into it. We just gonna come to freak on. So, March Mystery Madness. I decided that I'm gonna go ahead and make a TBR and focus on reading mysteries in the month of March because normally I would, as of 2024, I had this reading initiative plan. I'm gonna put it aside just gently to do March Mystery Madness because I love these prompts. Prompts give you the impetus to pick up some of those like hidden treasures off your bookshelves that you haven't touched or read. It just that's what it does, and I'm gonna take advantage of that. Now, with that being said, everybody knows that I love me some good old golden age detective fiction, some much more modern hard-boiled detective fiction, and these are the things that I love. And the reason I say this because somebody left a comment said I read too much old stuff, and I'm just like, well, you would be right. You would be absolutely right, and that's just what I love. Okay, so with that being said, the first prompt is Dressed to the Nines. I chose The Crime at Black Dudley by Margaret Allingham. Another super classic whodunit from the golden age. I think this is about 1920s or so. But anyway, it has to do with, it's the first book in Margaret Allingham's series, starring this gentleman named George. George is invited to this remote manor house setting by a colleague, as well as the uncle of the colleague, an elderly man. But George goes there, he falls in love with a girl named Maggie, then the murder starts to take place. But per the tropes that you see with a lot of mysteries, especially during this period, the trope is that this is a house where a murder has occurred within this list of suspects at the round table, nobody could get in and nobody could get out. So that's the conundrum that George is in. So he has to solve the crime as well as rescue the girl. And let's say it's got something to do with it. So anyway, I am so ready for this because I hauled it a long time ago and I said she's dressed to the nines. Let's get it going. Next is 999, a British mystery. I went ahead and chose P.D. James's A Certain Justice because I read a P.D. James book just about once a year of her Adam Dalgliesh series. And I think I got about, plus this, 5 books left. It would be nice if I could go ahead and read them all for the rest of the year, maybe possibly during the summer. So anyway, this has Scotland Yard Inspector Adam Dalgliesh solving the case of a murdered defense attorney who was in the middle of defending this gentleman. Well, he ain't a gentleman because he killed his parents, his mother. So, unfortunately for the defense attorney, she turns up dead, or magistrate or something like that. We're talking British, right? And that's where the whole subject matter of the investigative portions take place. The only thing that I find disheartening as I get further and further within the Adam Dalgliesh series is that P.D. James is moving far outside of his particular narrative voice and moving much more to his partners. It gets on my nerves sometimes, but I am dedicated and I'm here, and y'all know how loyal I am, even to book series that I cannot stand. I always got to see it all the way to the end. So hopefully A Certain Justice will get me geared up and motivated to finish the final 4 books. So there we go. Got to get that out the way. Prompt number 3 is 9 Lives, a book featuring a cat on the cover. I'm going all the way into deep space today, girl. I'm reaching out. I'm reaching all the way out with A Fatal Glow by Valerie Wilson Wesley. As you can see, there's the cat on the cover. So this is the second book in her Odessa Jones series. Odessa Jones, I think she worked at a real estate office per the first book, A Glimmer in Death. It's been a minute since I read that book. But she's also a baker, as well as, we'll just go ahead and just lay it out here, she's a psychic. She gets glimmers, she gets flickers, she gets lit. Okay? The issue she's having in this particular book as a second entry is that she's going to be hosting, or she has the opportunity to host this just be a caterer to this event with this gentleman. The gentleman goes to sample her desserts. Unfortunately, he ends up dying post sampling, and then all eyes of suspicion lands on Odessa, and she has to use her little flickering powers to find out who the actual killer is. Now, here is the thing. Y'all know Valerie Wilson Wesley wrote one of my absolute favorite black female not homicide but contemporary private investigative series, as in the Tamara Hale series. Love those books. The last 2 books were kind of weak sauce, but I love that series. And what I'm finding out is, as she switched to the cozy mystery genre subgenre is that I'm not as thrilled, and after finishing reading A Glimmer in Death, I was rather bored. It just kind of lacked that. It needed some more table salt in the mix. Okay, it needed some table salt, some garlic powder, and some onion powder in that mix, and maybe some Worcester sauce. Okay, it was missing some of that. And but like I said, I'm a loyalist when it comes to reading, and I give authors chance after chance after chance, and I love Miss Wesley. So we will be going forward with A Fatal Glow, and hopefully this will warm up that meal, that cantankerous meal that I was looking for in the first book. So the next book I'm going to be reading, which is the prompt for 911 First Responder, we're just going to go with a homicide detective. And this is Windy City by Hugh Holton. And what's fantastic about this is that this is a black mystery writer, a black male mystery writer. But it's also equally great to me is because it was written in the 90s. It's 1996's, and he was struggling then. We've come a long way since then, but still not far enough when it comes to this representation in the mystery genre. But just the fact that just this right here is just like it's like a gem. It's just a gem. But anyway, this is the second book in his Hugh Holton series. Hugh Holton, in his Larry Cole series, the author is Hugh Holton. His Larry Cole series. Larry Cole is a Chicago a Chicago detective. And when I read the first book, Presumed Dead, I'm going to just say this and lay this out there. That book was great. It was great, but instead of being in Chicago, that book read like a Arkham City Batman crime fest. It was so off the top, off the rails, and everything in between that I was just left gasping by the end of that book. Like, what in the hell is he writing about in Chicago? But it just had that, but it still had an appeal to me. I still was drawn to it because it was so out there. Not necessarily in a good way, but in a way where it was enthralling all the same. But I think the voice of Larry Cole is what really carried me through, because I ended up liking the book, actually. And of course, I'm going to follow up with Larry Cole here in Windy City. This has Larry Cole trying to track down two killers. They are a couple. They are super wealthy, and committing murders is like a frivolous affair for these guys. But Larry Cole is going to employ like this group of mystery enthusiasts, mystery reading enthusiasts, a mystery reading group. A group of people who love mysteries like you and I. He's going to ask them to help him track down these killers. And I can't talk because I just can't talk. Anyway, that's going to be filling that. So number 5 is one for Janelle. Of course, I chose The Haunted Abbot by Peter Tremaine. This is book number something in his Sister Fidelma series, which, the overarching subject matter or sub theme of this series has to do with ancient Ireland. And Sister Fidelma is 3 things. She's a lawyer in the sense of this time. She's actually a princess, although she really does play that part of her on the low. And she's also a woman of the cloth. And one of the things that I love about these series more than anything else is that Sister Fidelma has a smart ass mouth. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. So I can't wait to get back into her, because she is 2 summers ago, I was reading these books back to back. And I actually got burnt out. So yeah, here we are almost 2 years later, and I'm going back, and I can't wait because I love Sister Fidelma. So number 6 is 9 Patch. This was easy. I chose Monica Ferris. I think book number 6, Hanging by a Thread, and this 3-book collection. But there's a quilt on the cover, 9 Patch. I really don't know a lot about this stuff, but y'all have to help me out with that. But anyway, this is one of my favorite cozy mystery series, or one of the cozy mystery series that I still read steadily. But the main protagonist is a woman named Betsy Devonshire. She lives in this small town called, it has a really interesting name. Is it Excelsior? Okay, but anyway, yeah, I think that's what it is. I always used to think of that. But in this case, she inherited a needlecraft shop from her deceased sister who was murdered in the first book. So with by a thread or hanging by a thread, Betsy's going to employ a carpenter to fix the roof of her shop. Now, he has a absolutely bad reputation as being someone who had allegedly murdered someone within their small town community. So the people are like, why in the hell are you hiring this man to fix your roof? Don't you know his reputation? But, you know, he hasn't been convicted of anything. So I guess Betsy finds just enough of a kindly spirit within him that she goes about taking her time to solve who actually is the murderer of this past crime. And that's where we're going to be going with Hanging by a Thread. I noticed in a couple of these books, as per cozies, that there's not an actual murder that takes place. I think the last one didn't have one either. But yeah, I love Betsy because Betsy is so cynical, and that's just I love those kind of cozy mystery characters that just got some weight to them. You know what I'm saying? They're not like all Pollyanna, just yeah, you know, just a little bit of weight and grit to them. So the last one, I skipped 9th in the series, and I just went to number 9, which is Any Other 9, or you know, the catch-all, and I chose Dorothy L. Sayers' Clouds of Witness, which is the second book in her Peter Wimsey series. This is an Americanized version of Peter Wimsey. You know, that does not look like the Peter Wimsey that I think of, especially without the pit sneeze and, or is that what you call them, and the other monocles. Yeah, but anyway, I like this book. I had a previous version of the book, but I gave that book away and bought this one because I like this hardcover-ness. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about what the book is about because I don't know, and I couldn't care less because I bought all the Peter Wimsey books except the short story collections after I had gotten to this really big candy store factory feeling for reading these books last summer. And I'm going to do Clouds of Witness, the second book. And this fulfills the prompt of the catch-all because think about it. When I read a Peter Wimsey, Dorothy L. Sayers book, I am on what? Cloud 9. That is so super corny and cheesy, but I do not care because I'm like the biggest nerd anyway, okay? So anyway, guys, that's what I got planned for March Mystery Madness. I said, whatever. I really hope I can do it, though, honestly. I really do. I really do. I got all month. That's one of the things I learned about last month, that I just like, I'm going to pick these 5 books and it just go with the month. Go with the month. So anyway, that's it. If any of these be DNF'd, then they will be DNF'd, and they will be DNF'd, and that might come in. You tell me what you read. Bye.